Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Okay, so I'm just waiting to see if I have an audience as yet. I'm a bit croaky this morning. And welcome to anyone who's joining me later. For anyone who doesn't know me, my name is Lynn, and I am currently traveling around the world. This morning finds me in a place. Well, actually, it's just sort of outside of Ninbin. The name of the village, I'm not sure of the pronunciation of, and I haven't quite got my tongue around it. It's a small village just to the north of Ninbin. Hi, Jay. Welcome. Lovely to see you. And hi, Catherine. Great to see you as well. So we've moved up here to this other accommodation outside of Ninbin for two reasons. Partly because we knew that it was going to be a heat wave and we wanted to be in nice, comfortable, air-conditioned accommodation for the duration of the heat wave. Partly because it's a different aspect of Ninbin, which is a beautiful area, and we'll talk more about that in coming tours. Hi, Mary Lou, great to see you. And partly because our last accommodation didn't have a TV, and if you're going to be hunkered down inside your accommodation for 2 days straight, you kind of need to have a TV. So, so we wanted something that uh, had us not just sort of sleeping for 2 days straight. So we ended up here, and it's a nice little place, really lovely. It was a little bit more expensive. Hi, Annette, great to see you. A little bit more expensive than we paid for the last place, but it's got this nice pool here. It's already so hot. It's 5:45 in the morning, and it's really, really hot. It's going to be another really hot day today, and I'm a little bit worried about the signal where I'm sitting at the moment. So if it does change, I might duck inside. There's inside there. All right, so I've got two not very long videos for you today, and the reason for that is that they were taken in Hue, and again, it was really, really hot. So it was actually difficult. Oh, I've just noticed my signal's dipped. I think I might move inside. Hang on a sec. We'll do that. Hi, Sarah. Great to see you. Yeah, I'm going to move inside because I can see that my signal is jumping around a little. So we'll go in here where I think it's a little bit better. And I'll turn the fan on as well. So here we go. Okay. So I've got that 80s hair effect going again. All right, let's get down to business. So the reason I've got two short videos is that it was very hot in Hue, again, even very early in the morning. So my equipment was struggling. We were struggling. So we took the footage that we could. One of those is the temples that. One of those is the temple that I was mentioned to Annette during one of our conversations that we have many of, and I said that we're off now to go for a bike ride to a temple. So we're actually going to start with that. It's a Buddhist temple. It was a short ride from where we were staying, and we arrived there just after sunrise, so it was lovely. It overlooks the Perfume River in Hue, but I didn't have my gimbal with me, and that was partly due to the, the prevailing conditions. So it's very, very steady hand holding of the camera, but it's only short, and I'm sure that you'll find that it's fine. Now, the temple was a Buddhist temple built in 1600, so the site started in 1600. The background to it, and I'll read a little bit to you. I'm just going to scoot off to a little site, another tab that I've got open here, read a little bit to you. So the Thien Mu Temple, meaning Temple of the Celestial Lady, is a historic temple in the city of Hue in Vietnam. Its iconic 7-story pagoda is regarded as the unofficial symbol of the city. And the temple has often been the subject of folk rhymes and ca dao about Hue. The temple sits on the Ha Quay Hill in the ward of Hurong Long in Hue. It's around 5 kilometres from the Citadel, which is the second video that I'm going to run you through. So built in 1601, apparently it came about because, according to the royal annals, Huang, while touring the vicinity, was told of the local legend in which an old lady known as Thien Mu, literally celestial lady, dressed in red and blue, sat at the site rubbing her cheeks. She foretold that a lord would come and erect a pagoda on the hill to pray for the country's prosperity. She then vanished after making her prophecy. Upon hearing this, Huang ordered the construction of a temple at the site, thus beginning of Thien Mu, Thien Mu Temple, which is kind of a cute story. Yes, one of many conversations. Lynn usually catches me before bed, and I usually catch her jumping on a train, bike, or something like that, isn't it? And this morning is moving day. Today we are leaving Ninh and heading to Hanoi. So this is the start of the next 5 weeks of our time in Vietnam, and we've only got 2 weeks booked in Hanoi, and we know we're flying out of Hanoi. The rest of our time here, who knows? We'll see. We'll see where it takes us. We'll see what happens. All right, so let's have a little look at the. Let's get it up, and this is the Thien Mu Temple. So that's starting at the Ocean River, overlooking the river. You'll see in a second. I looked down because we didn't leave the bikes unattended, so I went up and then Richard went up. So we should see. I'm looking down, and Richard will be standing there with the bike. So this is the 7-story temple, and each level represents a different Buddha. So there he is, standing there with standing guard over our bikes. There's a lot of trees surrounding the pagoda, so it is actually difficult to get many different angles of it. And there's a story about the bell as well. Let me see if I can bring that up. What does it say about the bell? In 1710, Chu funded the casting of a giant bell which weighs 3,000 kilograms and was regarded as one of the most prized cultural relics of its time in Vietnam. And it's said to be audible 10 kilometres away. It has been the subject of many poems and songs. Hi, Natasha. Welcome. So we're just looking at, firstly, before we get to the Citadel, we're looking at the old pagoda and temple, Buddhist temple, which was a short bike ride from where we were staying in Hue. Yeah, the hand holding of the camera wasn't ideal on this occasion, was it? But it's really just to give you an idea. And the Buddhist monks do still reside. This is still an active, what do you call it, a domicile for the Buddhist monks. They still live here. Beautiful gardens. Yeah, it really isn't, is it, Annette? And try as you might to hold it steady while walking, it's just an almost impossible task. Now, I've been constantly trying to find out who these three fellows are, because they do actually feature in many of the Buddhist temples. So if any of you know anything about Buddhism, um, let me know who are those three fellows. And there's the drum of the temple, and the pagoda again. And the giant turtle represents some longevity, and that was added in, where was he? Let me see. I've got it here somewhere. I think it was in the 1800s it was added, the giant turtle. The pagoda itself was erected in 1844.
Morning.
Good morning. We're playing tag here. The little video on the right, there's a lizard in it. He's got a red head and a grey body, and he's on the left-hand side of the trunk. And I did actually see his head move briefly. So I was holding the camera there, waiting for it to move again. He's so well camouflaged. I bet you can't see him. All right, so that was the pagoda and Buddhist temple, and as I said, it's just a little short one to show you where we visited while we were staying in Hue. Hue was really just a stopover on our way north to break up our journey, and we tried to see as much as we could, but the heat was punishing while we were there, so we didn't get a lot achieved. So the second video is a brief tour of the citadel, the ancient citadel of Hue. Let me just see if I can bring up, I'm going to try and bring up the map of the citadel for you to see, so you can get an idea of what I'm talking about. And so this here is the citadel itself. This is where the temple pagoda is that we visited. And we were staying, we were staying around about here somewhere. Might have been that one. No, it wasn't that. It was around in that area. But this is the citadel itself. Now, the outer wall is about stop it. The outer wall, which you can see that square shape, is about 2.5 kilometres long each side. No, not the entire length. The whole. Each side is about 2.5 kilometres long. And then that's still a current city. So people still live and work and function and have shops and businesses and cafes and what have you, all inside the outer wall. And then the inner wall, just bring this over a little bit. Over here, move over. It's not playing ball. So the inner wall, the Imperial City itself, is this part here. So that's where we're going now. I'm going to stop sharing that and go back here. You can see the statues that you were interested in well enough to help. Sorry, Manette. Yeah, I should have zoomed in on that. Excuse me. All right, so let's go and visit the Citadel. And I will check my notes from time to time and add anything that I think is of any value to try and give you a layout of what the Citadel involves. But it's very similar to the Imperial City in Beijing in terms of its layout, and also in terms of the emperor had the innermost palace, and then radiating out from there were buildings of decreasing importance until you come to the gate. So one of the first buildings that we enter will be the gate itself. So let's get there. We started on a cyclone to get to the place because we were right over the other side. So 2.5 kilometres on a cyclone to get from one side of the ancient city to the actual entrance gate. Yes, he was in it. Cheeky little driver indeed. And whatever we paid for it, it was worth it. It was so hot. We were not going to walk it. Coming up, you'll see actually what the cyclones look like. You get to see one or two of them as well. There's one. There's a couple there. I'll try and get you a still of that, Annette. See if I can actually get you a still photo and send it to you. Okay, so this is the main entrance gate, and the center entranceway, hallway, was reserved only for the emperor. It's called the Nomon Gate, and it's obviously been restored. And from up on top, you can look out over the whole site of the citadel. We get to see one of the moats here. There's two moats. Hi, Ronnie Lynn. Welcome. We've just entered the citadel. And this is the entrance gateway. And there's the main bell. And that basically just says that bells had an important place in the life of the city. It is, isn't it, Sarah? And then in this hallway here, they have exhibitions, and this one currently being held is about the royal seals. It's difficult to see them because, first of all, the gold and the reflectiveness of the cases, it's quite difficult to actually see them. So I didn't spend a lot of time on this exhibition. Elaborate though. So from the top of the gate, you're looking out towards the perimeter. That's the structure that lies at the outer perimeter wall with the Vietnamese flag on top. And that building there, we didn't have access to it, but I'm fairly certain it was the main audience hall where visiting dignitaries would have been welcomed. But that's not the palace itself, that's further in.
And they could forgive whatever happened. And they asked me the military.
And then there's the drum. So every place you go to has a bell and a drum.
Yeah, and I think the tolerance, the other tolerance for all of the people. And that's it.
Or gong, a drum or a gong. Yeah, the red and gold is just so glorious, isn't it, Annette? It's just vibrant. And here we have a model. So we've stood and watched her work for a little while. And this is embedded in the stairs. As you go down the stairs, this is just more broken china, Annette. And there's restoration work going on all over the place. It's a huge project. The top of the roofs are just gorgeous. That's what I need when I do a tour, a guy running around making sure my lighting is good. Oh, who doesn't need that, Annette? Yeah, indeed. So a lot of these buildings, I don't know their purpose, but they all have incredibly detailed and decorative roof finishing. This hallway leads to a garden. And many of the buildings aren't open. Some of them contain cafes and souvenir shops. Annette says, and you better stop getting so excited about broken china or you won't be coming to dinner at my house. You should do what the Greeks do. Opa. Have you ever been to a Greek restaurant where they smash the plates? That's fun. Isn't that gorgeous? Look at the building. It's just so beautiful. Just keep your good plates aside. We'll break the op shop plates. You have, Sarah? We may have been to the same place. The one I recall was in Teddington. It was amazing. It was so much fun. You're going to have a very quiet dinner party, Annette. So we're down to taking photos. We're swapping phones. We're giving phones a rest. The heat is making things really difficult. We've stopped filming, and here's our model again, looking gorgeous once again. And a family, they all dress up. They dress up to go visit these places. Oh, I forgot to make that one big to fill the screen, and that one. Oh dear, never mind. I normally make my photos fit the width of the screen. Saves washing the dishes, Annette. Breaking the plate saves washing the dishes. And look, you get to create mosaics afterwards. And this is on the right here is incense. I'm hoping to visit a place in Hanoi where they actually make the incense. And to think my mother just worried about her elbows on the table. I have mine on the table right now.
And I will show you how to make in the contact like this.
I don't even know what she's saying. Sometimes I stalk the tour guides. Try and get a bit more information out of them. Now this is the palace, and as we get closer, you'll see how they like to use their dinner plates, Annette. The whole place is covered in broken pottery. It's insane. It's and beautiful. Look what the cannon sits on as well. I briefly show you here, just to the right. Yeah, it's made of marble. That cannon stand is made of marble. At this point, I was honestly flagging. I had no enthusiasm for filming at all. I just wanted to get out of the heat.
No, for a même chose.
Oh, my signal's dipping here as well. Is it still looking okay your end, guys? And we do a little brief whiz around the inside of the palace. Oh, barely in it. There was no air conditioning. Look at that for wall art. I don't think it's wallpaper. And there's the gorgeous sedan chair.
Năm 1902.
And with all the body heat as well, don't forget all those people rammed in there. So yeah, apologies for not slowing down and taking a closer look at things. And even the furniture for the cafe is quite lovely. Not really a cafe, it's a place to pick up an ice cream and a drink. And here's where we get a brief reminder of Kiara. It's good times. And that's the hat. I promised someone another hat. It's made out of lotus leaves. And I finished up with the night scene at the river. All right, so that was the Citadel. Again, I apologise for not giving you a longer tour of the Citadel, but it was so hot, it was quite intolerable. But it was one of those things where we debated whether we should go or not. I mean, we're in Hue. The focus of Hue is the Citadel. We knew it was going to be hot, and we just said, look, we can't not go. So we went, and it was definitely worth it. It was definitely worth seeing. But my heart wasn't in the videoing aspect, I'm afraid. But so I apologise if that was substandard. And I hope you enjoyed it anyway. So while we were in Ninh and I noticed my signal has just dropped again. It's down to 1 bar, sitting here with Wi-Fi. Who knows? While we've been in Ninh I've been out on a boat. So I've done the boat through the rice paddy fields, through the caves, and through the karst landscape. And I managed to get some of that on video. I had to share a boat with a Dutch traveller, and so there's a bit of chatting going on. So I wasn't filming for the entire time. I didn't actually film non-stop the entire trip, which was an hour and a half anyway, so you wouldn't have wanted to see that. Do you have a pool to enjoy in the hot days, Lynn? Yeah, we do have a pool here, Bonnie Lynn. For most of the day, it's in sunshine, so it's not cool. It's kind of like bath water. Can you see that? The hotel guy is out there cleaning it right now. Did you stay long at the Citadel? We were there probably, I would say, close to 2 hours. It's that length, the length that you saw the cyclo take us, you then have to walk to the other side. So you're walking through the Citadel from one side to the other. So you're probably covering 2.5 kilometres by the time you've walked through the length of the Citadel in one gate and out the other. So we were there probably about 2 hours, I think, and finding stops to sit and, in the shade, or finding a what do you call, a hallway where the wind is naturally funneled through from time to time, just sort of taking a break and a breather. Yeah, it was hot, but we had a lovely iced coffee at the other end, so that was nice. So I did the boat trip in Ninh. We cycled, so I've got some footage of the cycling. You can see that my skin's all reacted to the heat as well. My eczema's playing up. We were also, yesterday, we took out a motorbike, and that was scary and fun. We took the motorbike out along the lakes here, and I've got some GoPro footage from that. I've got to get that off my GoPro and onto my phone, and then out onto my computer, and that all takes time and has challenges. So I've got to get that all sorted for you as well. Who drove? Not me. And I can tell you, gear changing, we should have had an automatic bike. Is there such a thing? I don't know. But gear changing, I mean, you can imagine sitting on the back going like this every time he changes gears. And yeah. And holding a camera as well. So, yes. You'll appreciate that footage when you see it. And some of the bike riding, I actually held my phone and rode one-handed and tried to be an Andrea and Evia, and do smooth cycle footage. Ha! I'll show you some of that. Maybe I should do an outtakes reel. Yes, I was riding along a dirt road, and I didn't notice that there were some potholes coming up, and I'm holding my camera and the bike one-handed, and all of a sudden I've gone, whoosh, and yes. So yeah, I'll have to have a think about the outtakes. I should actually start a folder with outtakes and start putting some outtakes footage together. All right, so today we leave at 9:30. It's 6:30 now, so we'll have breakfast. I might go in the pool. I'm a bit reluctant to because then you've got to carry all your wet gear with you while you're traveling. But I might go in again this morning. I'll see how I feel. We have to pack. We only have small suitcases, so it doesn't take long. And our bus comes at 9:30, and then we head. I think it's 3 hours by bus, 2.5 hours, something like that. And you look forward to seeing that, Sarah. So it's about 2.5 hours or something to get to Hanoi, and then we are there for 2 weeks initially, and then we'll see what happens after that. I've made contact with the two guides from Hanoi. There's Lei Huang and Trong Kong, and I did some Googling, I have found a 6 kilometre mosaic wall, and I'm determined to get you there somehow. So I think I might reach out to one of the guys and say, hey, can we meet up? Can you talk me through it? Would you be prepared to join me on a tour and talk me through the wall? Because it's commemorating 1,000 years of Hanoi as a city, as the capital city of Vietnam. Short outtakes on the YouTube channel would be brilliant. Another time-consuming task you've set me. My will is there, my time might not be. So yes, there's things coming up in Hanoi that I'm really looking forward to showing you. And I think the water puppet show is not too expensive. So that's another thing that I'm going to look into as well. I don't know if you've heard of the Hanoi water puppet show, but it's what I've seen of it looks amazing, and I think it's not too expensive. If it was going to be $40 or $50, that would have been no, definitely not doing that. But I think it's actually quite reasonable. Something I need to look into as well. So lots happening in Hanoi, and looking forward to taking you there and seeing it all. All right, guys, 6:30, that's long enough. I think 3/4 of an hour together. I've taken up enough of your time. I hope you've enjoyed it. And the only thing I'm working on right now is the push bike, the cycling, putting all that footage together and trying to make sense of it all so that it's watchable. So keep an eye out for it. Have a great day, everyone. And if you're not already following me, if there's people watching this later, please subscribe to my channel. If you've got any postcards, I know that there wasn't much to get out of that today, but if you did manage to get some postcards, I'd love to see them on our groups. It's all about growing our community. So we want to support each other as guides and as a community and try and grow it because it's the only way that the community will continue. Keep an eye out for links to the calendar. We will, if we're sharing anything, we will always try and share a link to the calendar wherever possible. But I'll repost as a featured post in one of our groups as well. Oh, thanks, Annette. You're a darling. And as always, if you can manage to support me, I'm always grateful, but I don't expect it. So have a great day. See you in Hanoi or Ninh Binh, which is where my next tours are going to be. Bye for now, guys.